Wait, another voiceover? Is that a thing now? Well, not really. We're just pretty bad at vlogging for now. You see that intro right there? It was actually shot in slow motion, without any sound. I was probably saying something pretty smart right there. Who knows? Anyway, the day has finally come. We are installing our fan on the roof. This is the MaxxAir Fan Deluxe, the manual one, without the remote. We figured Miriam was tall enough to reach the ceiling. We're excited to do this today. That feels like the very first big step in our van conversion. No turning back after this. Weather is great, birds are singing, no better condition to cut a hole in our van. Whoops. Miriam, I think you're losing me right now. Come back up. Up. See how bad we are at this? There we go. There I am. Looking sharp on the Home Depot parking lot. About to cut a hole in my van. Hope you enjoy us and stick around for explanation after.
So, to install the fan, we need something else to avoid rust.
Yep.
When we're gonna cut the hole, and even if we're gonna put like a lot of sealing, like
sealant.
Sealant.
Yes.
Sealant.
Sealant on the ceiling. Word of the day.
We still need to put something just to be sure the metal is not going to rust. So how do you call that thing?
It's a metal primer, I think is what it is. That's what I've read on the internet. So that's what we're gonna look for. And once we cut the hole in the roof, that's what we'll put on the metal to avoid rusting and infiltrations.
And that's why we are at
Home Depot. Whoops.
There.
this is what the view on top of a ProMaster van looks like. And this is also what a parking lot at Home Depot looks like. And this is what Miriam looks like, even tinier. Alright, so I'm on the roof, ready to cut the first hole in the van. Still very anxious to do it, but there's no turning back right now. Let's do this.
Yeah, you're ready.
cut right here. I've just applied the primer, which isn't called primer, it's called primer apparently. So the only thing is it needs to dry at least 2 to 4 hours. So I guess that means lunch break. We're gonna have to leave our van with a hole in the roof while we go have some lunch, and then installing the structure right here, right there, some sealant, a few screws, and then we have a fan. Okay, so the fan is on the roof. I repeat, the fan is on the roof. There you have it. So the ceiling part is really messy, but I was told this was normal. So I also read there's no such thing as too much sealant, so I've put quite a lot of sealant, which I guess is pretty safe.
Go!
Okay, so it's been a few days. We installed the fan as you just watched, but the thing is we didn't think of testing the fan before we installed it. And so we tried that with one of our lithium battery for our portable tools, and this didn't really work. We had another friend that also is converting a van that tried with this kind of battery, and his fan worked perfectly. So we were a little bit nervous that our fan might be defective and that we would have to replace it. And now that it's sealed and screwed to the wall, to the ceiling, roof, whatever. And so we decided before we do that, we noticed that our fan was requiring 5 amps, like at least 12 volts and 5 amps. This was 4 amps. So before we returned it, I was thinking, you know what, let's try with another battery that's at least 5 amps. Even though it worked with our friend's fan, we just didn't want to give up yet. And so I went ahead and ordered this guy off of Amazon. It's basically a booster pack for your car battery or van battery or whatever. So we thought this would come in handy at some point in our travels, like if our battery ever dies or whatever. And it's like really multi-purpose, like you can charge stuff as well with it. You have a, maybe if I turn it on before. So if you turn this on, you also have like a big LED light if we ever get stuck in the darkness or whatever. And so this is what I wanted to test the fan with. So spoiler alert, it works because we've already tried this before filming. So I'm just going to connect the fan wires to the booster cables. Plus goes on the red, and white, which is the negative, goes on the black. And if you can see the fan right now, this is all we got before when we tested with another battery, another 4 amps battery. So just look at the fan and boost this. This is all the fan was doing, like barely turning on, just spinning for a second and then stopping, and then nothing responded here. We could press any button, nothing worked. So this got us worried, but now that we have this big battery pack, we can see that it's working perfectly. And so this is a relief. Like, this was our first really big task in the van, in our conversion. This was a pretty huge step for us because we cut a hole in our van. So pretty nerve-wracking, and to see it not working at first, it was really scary. But now with this guy, we're gonna be able to test basically anything electric that we install in our van before we get our solar and our electricity system. And so it works just fine. Like, it has 10 speeds. I don't know if you can hear me over this, but we've just tried, like, basically, so right now it's sucking air out, but we also can switch it so it pulls air in, like a normal vent would do. And so 10 speeds, it's actually not that noisy. We tried it turning it on at max, and being outside the van, you can barely hear it, if not at all. And from the inside, I mean, we're gonna have it turned on when we're like cooking or living, like not sleeping, I think. And so this won't bother us at all, and it's pretty cool. So there you go. We really have a fan that works. and we are really excited, and that's a pretty big step, and that kind of gets us going to really do the rest of the conversion.